Have you ever dreamed of a world where all your desires come true? A place where your goals, dreams, and aspirations aren't just possibilities, but tangible realities? Well, you're in the right place. Today we're going to talk about a secret that can help you do just that. It's not magic, it's not a trick, it's a philosophy of life, Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us the importance of focusing on ourselves, on our actions, on our reactions, on our mindset. It shows us how, by doing so, we can transform our reality and make incredible things happen. In this video, we're going to explore 15 Stoic keys that will help you do just that. Each key will be explained in detail, accompanied by a quote from a Stoic philosopher that illustrates its meaning. So sit back, relax, and get ready for a journey to the heart of Stoicism. Before we continue, I would appreciate it if you could like this video so it can reach many more people. If you don't want to miss any of my videos, subscribe and turn on notifications. Key 1. Ataraxia, inner peace. The first Stoic key to focus within yourself is ataraxia, a Greek term that translates as inner peace or imperturbability. The Stoics believed that true happiness is not found in external pleasures or the approval of others, but in tranquility of mind. Ataraxia is achieved by accepting the world as it is without wishing things were different. It is understanding that we cannot control external events, only our reaction to them. By freeing ourselves from expectations and accepting reality, we can find inner peace. As Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "It is not things that disturb you, but your opinions about them." This phrase reminds us that our inner peace depends on how we interpret and respond to life's events, not on the events themselves. Ataraxia, therefore, is a powerful key to focusing on yourself. By cultivating inner peace, you can free yourself from unnecessary worries and concentrate on what truly matters, your personal growth and development. Key 2. Amor fati, loving fate. The second Stoic key is amor fati, which translates as loving fate. This concept invites us to accept and love everything that life brings us, both the good and bad alike. Instead of resisting challenges or lamenting adversity, the Stoics teach us to embrace them as part of our journey. Amor fati is the practice of seeing every event in our lives, even the most difficult, as something necessary and beneficial for our growth. It's understanding that every experience, no matter how painful or challenging, has a purpose and can teach us valuable lessons. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "Accept what comes to you, woven into the pattern of your destiny, for what could better suit your needs." This quote reminds us that every event in our lives is exactly what we need at that moment to learn, grow, and evolve. By practicing amor fati, you can see every challenge as an opportunity to grow and every adversity as a valuable lesson. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development, instead of getting caught up in resistance or resentment. Key 3 is proche, mindfulness. The third Stoic key is proche, which translates as mindfulness. The Stoics emphasize the importance of living in the present and paying attention to our current actions and thoughts. Proche is the practice of being fully present. In each moment, paying attention to our actions, thoughts, and emotions without judgment. It is the awareness that we only have control over our actions and reactions in the present, and that our attention should be focused on doing the right thing here and now. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "Do not ask things to happen as you wish, but wish things as they happen, and you will be happy." This quote reminds us that we must accept reality as it is and focus our attention on our own actions and reactions. By practicing proche, you can learn to live in the present and focus on what you can control, your own actions and reactions. This mindfulness will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development, instead of worrying about what is beyond your control. Key 4 is eudaimonia, the good life. The fourth Stoic key is eudaimonia, which translates as the good life or happiness. The Stoics believed that true happiness is not found in fleeting pleasures, or the accumulation of wealth, but in living a life of virtue and purpose. Eudaimonia is achieved by living in accordance with nature, which for the Stoics means living virtuously. This means understanding that our true happiness and satisfaction come from our own actions and character, not from external circumstances. As Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This phrase reminds us that our true wealth and happiness depend on our character and actions, not on our material possessions. Eudaimonia, therefore, is a powerful key to focusing on yourself. By seeking the good life through virtue and purpose, you can find lasting and meaningful satisfaction. Key 5. Memento mori. Remember that you will die. The fifth Stoic key is memento mori, which translates as remember that you will die. This concept reminds us of the inevitability of death and invites us to live each day as if it were our last. Memento mori is a practice of reflection on our mortality that is not meant to provoke fear, but to inspire action. By remembering that our life is finite, we can appreciate every moment and live with greater purpose and intensity. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now, take what's left and live it properly." This quote reminds us that each day is a gift and that we should live it to the fullest. By practicing memento mori, you can learn to appreciate every moment and live each day with purpose and gratitude. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development instead of worrying about what you cannot control. Key 6. Enkritia, self-control. The sixth Stoic key is enkritia, which translates as self-control. The Stoics understood that self-control is fundamental to living a virtuous and fulfilling life. It is the practice of exercising control over our actions, thoughts, and emotions. It is the ability to resist temptations and maintain composure in difficult situations. The Stoics believe that self-control allows us to live according to our values and principles instead of being swept away by our passions or external circumstances. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said that freedom is not secured by the full enjoyment of what is desired, but by the controlling of desire. This quote reminds us that true self-control is not about repressing our desires, but about freeing ourselves from them. By practicing this Stoic principle, you can learn to exert control over your actions and emotions, which will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Key 7 is oikiosis, affiliation. The seventh Stoic key is oikiosis, or the feeling of belonging. The Stoics believe that we are all part of a larger community and that we have a responsibility to contribute to the well-being of others. Affiliation is the practice of recognizing our connection with others and acting accordingly. It is understanding that our actions have an impact on others and that we must consider this impact in our decisions. Hierarchals, a Stoic philosopher, propose a model of concentric circles of affiliation in which oneself is at the center, followed by family, friends, community, humanity, and finally the cosmos. This model reminds us that we are part of something larger and that our actions can have an impact beyond ourselves. By practicing oikiosis, you can learn to consider the impact of your actions on others and contribute to the well-being of your community. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development while also contributing to the well-being of others. Key 8. Philanthropy, love for humanity. The eighth Stoic key is philanthropy, or the love for humanity. The Stoics believed in the importance of kindness and generosity towards others. It is the practice of acting with kindness and generosity towards others without expecting anything in return. It is understanding that we are all part of the same human community and that we have a responsibility to care for and support others. Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." This quote reminds us that we always have the opportunity to act with kindness and generosity, regardless of the circumstances. By practicing this, you can learn to act with kindness and generosity, which will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development while contributing to the well-being of others. Key 9. Sophrosyne moderation. The ninth Stoic key is sophrosyne, which translates as moderation. The Stoics believed in the importance of living a balanced life and avoiding excess. It is the practice of seeking balance in all areas of our lives. It is understanding that excesses, whether in pleasures or difficulties, can lead to unhappiness and suffering. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Possessions, but in having few needs. This quote reminds us that true wealth and happiness come from living a balanced and moderate life, not from accumulating possessions or pleasures. By practicing this, you can learn to find balance in your life and avoid excesses. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Key 10. Dichotomy of control. The Stoics believe that the key to living a peaceful and satisfying life is to concentrate on the things that are under our control and accept the things that are outside of our control. It is the practice of differentiating between our actions and thoughts that are under our control and external events that are outside of our control. It is understanding that we cannot control what happens around us, but we can control how we respond to it. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "It is not things that disturb us, but our opinions about things." This quote reminds us that our peace and happiness depend on how we interpret and respond to life's events, not on the events themselves. By practicing this, you can learn to concentrate on what you can control and accept what you cannot control. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Key 11. Premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. The Stoics regularly practice the exercise of visualizing the possible challenges or difficulties they might face in the future. It is the practice of anticipating and mentally preparing for possible challenges or adversities. It is not about being pessimistic, but about being prepared and having a plan of action in case things don't go as planned. Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "The wise man always considers adversity possible and is therefore prepared to face it." This quote reminds us that true wisdom is not found in hoping for the best, but in being prepared for the worst. By practicing it, you can learn to anticipate and prepare for challenges, which will allow you to maintain calm and composure even in the most difficult situations. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Key 12. Sympathia, universal connection. The Stoics believe that we are all part of a larger whole and that we are intrinsically connected to the universe. It is the practice of recognizing our connection to the universe and acting accordingly. It is understanding that our actions have an impact on the universe and that we must consider this impact in our decisions. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "What is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bee." This quote reminds us that we are part of a larger whole and that our actions can have an impact beyond ourselves. By practicing this, you can learn to consider the impact of your actions on the universe and contribute to the well-being of the universal community. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Key 13. Arete, excellence of character. The 13th Stoic key is arete, which translates as excellence of character. The Stoics believe that the goal of life is to develop a virtuous character and live in accordance with nature. Arete is the practice of cultivating virtues and living according to our values. It is understanding that our true happiness and satisfaction come from our own actions and character, not from external circumstances. Musonius Rufus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "Virtue is not a matter of knowing theories, but of practicing them daily." This quote reminds us that our character and happiness depend on how we actively live out our principles, not just on understanding them. By practicing arete, you can learn to cultivate a virtuous character and live according to your values. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Key 14, kathekon, duty. The Stoics believe that each of us has a duty or moral responsibility toward ourselves and others. It is the practice of fulfilling our duties and responsibilities not out of obligation or fear of the consequences, but because it is the right thing to do. It is understanding that our actions have an impact on ourselves and others, and that we must act in accordance with our values and guiding principles. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Fulfill your social duty with your whole heart." This quote reminds us that our duty is to act in accordance with our nature and live a virtuous life. By practicing this, you can learn to fulfill your duties and responsibilities in a way that is in harmony with your values and principles. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Key 15, logos, the universal reason. The 15th and final Stoic key is the logos, which translates as universal reason. The Stoics believe that the universe is governed by an inherent reason or logic, and that we should strive to live in harmony with this reason. The logos is the practice of seeking truth and wisdom through reason and logic. It is understanding that our actions and decisions should be guided by reason, not by emotions or desires. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Everything that happens in the way that universal nature intends." This quote reminds us that we should strive to understand and live in harmony with universal reason. By practicing logos, you can learn to make rational decisions and live in harmony with universal reason. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. We have reached the end of our journey through the 15 Stoic keys to focusing on yourself. Each of these keys offers us a unique perspective on how to live a full and meaningful life, from ataraxia to logos. These keys remind us that we have the power to control our actions and reactions, to live in accordance with our values and principles, and to contribute to the well-being of others. Remember, Stoicism is not just an ancient philosophy, but a practical guide for everyday life. By applying these keys to your life, you can find inner peace, live with purpose, and unleash your potential. So, are you ready to embark on this journey of self-discovery and personal growth? As the great Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Thank you for joining us on this journey through Stoicism. We hope these keys inspire you to focus on yourself and live a full and meaningful life. Until next time,